These guys are all from Tula, Hidalgo, Mexico. They're made out of green banded calcite. It's looking more and more true every day, Spence. This one tripped me out because it's got a wheel. Not something I would expect to see with the carbon dating and thermoluminescence testing that have come from other pieces in the area. These are all from Tula, Hidalgo, Mexico. Yeah, I really love looking at these pieces. There's so much to see. Like the detail in these things is extensive, to say the least. The way they carved it is, I don't know. I mean, doesn't seem like any computer software by any means. The perfections are not 100%. Yeah, there's quite a bit of Egyptian stuff depicted. Some glyphs are familiar, some are off. On the back of this guy, it's got the fucking alien, which immediately brought like a red flag to me. Like, that can't be fucking real. But there's been a lot of pieces with this type of depiction in multiple ways, so it's interesting. Yeah, I thought so too, Joey, but I'm researching it to prove it one way or another. I can't come to conclusive research to say that it is fake after looking at it with sweeping electron microscopes, seeing the carbon dates, thermoluminescent dates, and then the real thing is the skulls that are coming out and things like that all have similar markings and same type of iconography, same sort of luminescence. I'll show you one here. Put it back here. Actually, one was just found today with even more of the spinal area that's connected to it, which is really interesting. They found one of these in Rhodope Mountains in Bulgaria back in 2001. A lot of scientists studied it and didn't have a conclusive answer of what it was. They sent it off for DNA, and it went missing. So over 20 years later, now we have multiple specimens of the same type of skull, and research is underway. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, there's Mayan, Aztec. I mean, there's a little bit of everything. You see things like, what I've seen wrote in ancient Greek or what supposedly like Atlantean language. This piece is interesting. It's almost as if the carvings were burnt in. It's got a really odd look to it, especially under a microscope. I can only hold it so still. I apologize. Yeah, it's interesting. The story at the minimum is amazing. I mean, they could make this into a movie I would watch. It's got a lot going on. That's what we're here to find out, Calvin. It's really, there's a lot of compelling evidence to say that it very well could be. But to prove something like this requires extensive amounts of research, and we're just not quite there yet. But there's a lot of people working on it now, and a few years ago when I started looking at these things, like it was really hard to find anyone. There was nothing on the internet, and now there's actually a buzz going on about it, and people are talking about it. There's documentaries being made about it, so it's definitely on the up and up in terms of finding out the truth one way or another. The carvings in this thing just blow me away, though. Like it's great to. Now this is a green banded calcite. Yeah, which gift shop, man? I would love to find a gift shop that had stonework like this. I mean, I've collected stones my whole life, carved stuff, specimens, whatever. I definitely have never seen anything like this. Yeah, they don't look so old, hillbilly, but also the mosaics being found at the Pompeii site there, where Mount Vesuvius blew up and pretty much froze everything in the ground. They don't look like they're very old either. However, they are, and this is a similar situation. A volcano. If you read the Tula Hidalgo Cambridge 2021 report, you'll see on there that they claim Tula Hidalgo to be covered by that 2/3 of the city is completely covered underground, and it's an archaeology epicenter. It's their exact words on it. So there's a lot to be found out about Tula Hidalgo, the story of Atlantis, how it kind of ends at Tula Hidalgo, and that there's stories of Atlantis there, and the whole Aslan story from the Aztecs. So there's definitely reason to research it, I guess, is where I'm at with it. Because if it is real, it's absolutely extremely important. This one here is like my favorite. This egg is like, I looked at this thing under a microscope for a really long time. Because the way it's carved is just bizarre. And beautiful at the same time. Like a lot of, this just isn't some quick, easy carving job. And what's crazy about this stone is the luminescence on it is just ridiculous. I mean, it's a solid stone. I wouldn't want to drop it still, but it would probably be okay. Turn this light off and see if it. I'm going to grab my flashlight really quick here. This thing eats up batteries like crazy, so you got to charge it. It's really a powerful blacklight that I'm going to be using. It's a 385 to 395 UV beast. They use an LED technology that makes it really, really powerful for being a handheld device. Oh yeah, you can see it plain as day. It really glows. These are all from Mexico, Tula, Hidalgo. You know, the way I found out about it, there was a vendor down there at the Tucson Gem Show, and he had some of these pieces, and so I started taking a look, and just certain things about it struck me as this doesn't seem like the consistent stuff that I see from the markets. This has so much more detail and such a similar story. Are you like a lapidary person, Valley? Because I've been in lapidary my whole life, and it absolutely is not something that you would find an amateur doing of such pristine quality. I mean, to hollow out a skull like this to make a whistle out of it, it's really the carbon dating and the thermoluminescent testing is showing anywhere from 8 to 21,000 years. There, obviously, you can't carbon date stone, but there's inlays on the stone, like for instance this eyeball here, and there's an adhesive used to attach that, and that adhesive it contains organic material, so they're able to do carbon testing from that. And then a lot of these pieces are ceramic and can be core sampled and thermoluminescent testing done, which also gives consistent dates to the adhesives. Yeah, pre-Adamic, pre-flood likely. This is probably what the Bible's talking about when it talks about the monstrosities that didn't bear God's image and the inhabitants that worshiped their gods with stone idols. The reasons for the fall of Babel and the flood, etc., that could have been, partially of what we're seeing. It's a chance, like I'm not trying to tell anybody that this is for surely real or not. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. But to me, there's some striking things that just would take an act of Congress to try to pull off in terms of a hoax. Getting this many artisans to make the same story and have it be, so accurate on many levels is really a challenge. To get people to work together when you're competing against each other, trying to make a buck selling your carvings. It's hard enough to sell art. I don't know if you've ever sold art, but to get good enough to be able to sell it like this, you have to make a lot of it. And so the fact that we have this many artisans, we've documented over 12,000 pieces on our site, AlienCarvings.com. And to get to that level, I mean, it's definitely saying something regardless. These whistles, they're a mystery to me. Like the fact they got them tuned, you can put them on a tuner and it's just. Yeah, I've held the pine cone in the mirror, done the water thing, tried to see if there was any sort of weird things there. Haven't been able to observe anything like that. However, they do emit a strange frequency with the trifield meter, though. Electromagnetic stuff. Let me see if I can get out of the light just right here. You can see, like, where I'm at now, it's nothing. You get closer to these pieces, it goes dramatically up. And I've got a large rock collection. Oh, sounds muffled. Can you hear me better now? Yeah, I've got a Geiger here as well. Hopefully you can hear me now. I'm not sure my headset was maybe acting up here. but nothing of sorts there. Awesome, thank you, Delusional. Yeah, I mean, fake or real is not really where I'm at. Like I'm trying to find the truth here of who's making them if they are fake, because it's such a grand thing. I mean, to produce 12,000 pieces all revolving around the same story. That was my initial thought, was that they were fake. I came into this, was just could not believe it. My buddy tried telling me that they're real, and they're digging them up down there, and he found them at the Tucson Gem Show. And I told him, I actually bet him like $5,000 that I could prove it to be modern fairly easily, you know. And so I took it upon myself. I went onto eBay and bought a few of these pieces, and that's where I found them first. And started trying to like talk to the sellers, get more information. I wanted dig videos. I wanted to be able to test this stuff and research it, you know. And yeah, definitely not plastic. It's very heavy and hard. You can use acids and stuff to do false aging. Like I've found pieces down there that were fake. People trying to pull fast ones. I've worked with about 35 different families, and what's interesting is the stories, the pieces, everything is always the same. And so when you have competitive people out there selling these things, and the artwork and the story and the pieces are all the same, then you know, are they all getting it from the same artisans? And it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And there's things too, like the luminescence of these pieces with the flashlight. They had no idea that any of them glowed until, I mean, I didn't either until we hit one time, and we could see it. It was actually this piece right here. It was like on the table, and you can see the corner of it, and all of a sudden we start testing these pieces, and I mean they all glow in one way or another. Really strange. You can see like a red phosphorescence on this. It's, you know, from the calcite, but nonetheless, they went through the effort, whoever made these, to make sure that all of them have some sort of this glow. And unfortunately, it's still daytime out, so I can't turn off the lights, guys. I apologize. I will be back tonight, though. Geo Aliens is going to go live, and I'm going to join him on his feed. So follow Geo Aliens, and we're going to show the table on there, and a few other really cool pieces that have come out of Tula. Go to a closet, yeah. Trying to move this to a closet, like that pyramid right there weighs like 80 pounds. So I'm good on moving that to the closet. But I'll come back though. Check us out, and you'll see us. We'll go live again tonight, and I'll be able to turn off the lights then. Probably around like 10 o'clock Pacific or something. That's interesting, Thug. Yeah, I kind of wondered, you know, like why these pieces had the glowing if they are old. Like why? I mean, how would they be able to see that? You know, um, didn't make a lot of sense. However, if these things are angels, Anunnaki, um, it states in both of those that these beings emit a splendor or a halo of light, and it was bright like the sun. And the sun also produces 385 to 395 UV. However, it doesn't go down fast enough to, you know, see the reaction because it fades quickly. So that's not the answer. But if these beings did emit a halo, it could have had that, you know, nanometer wavelength, and that could be how they saw these pieces glow. Yeah, I would love to see your proof change. Like I thought that as well. I bet my friend that I could prove that they were fake. I would love to see your proof because I've spent $250,000 and got numerous PhDs and a lot of different people involved to try to figure this out and prove it that way, and have yet to come up with any successful evidence to say so. I have found fake pieces, but as far as to prove all 12,000, not even possible. They're from Tula Hidalgo, Mexico. And the way that they're being acquired is, normally if you were to buy stuff that's antiquity, it's illegal. It's a treaty violation. Sorry, I had to get a drink. But these pieces, in 2016, Mexico, the Anthropology and Archaeology Department came out with a thing and said, hey, anything that depicts an alien or a UFO, it has to be modern. Someone had to have planted it there, because that's not something that these Aztecs or Olmec or Mayan knowingly worshipped, and so it has to be modern, they said. So for those purposes, people can go out and dig these things up. They can use geo-radar quietly. I mean, obviously it's illegal to dig down there, but they're quiet about it. They take the stuff out, they survey with geo-radar, GPR, find out where the spots are, plug it in, and come back with a couple little shovels. They can't use big shovels or have any like real digging equipment because they'll get in trouble. But they can have some gardening tools, just little hand shovels and stuff. And a lot of this stuff's not extremely deep. It's 10 to 30 centimeters on average. Some pieces, like the large pieces, are 5 foot deep and stuff in that range. But yeah, there is actually quite a bit of gold. Like this ankh here is all leafed in gold. You can see the quality here. I've had a lot of this stuff tested with XRF. You can see it on our feed. But what's crazy about it is the alloy. It ranges wherever you test. Like it varies very heavily. Same with on these pieces. Like his two eyeballs are going to be a different alloy of gold. None of it's 24 karat. All of it has impurities one way or another. We found rare earth materials like rhodium, platinum, stuff like that would be refined out normally, still in the material, which was striking to us because rhodium is worth a lot more than gold. It's crazy, all these things. This thing is really, really solid. You can't really rock it. Same with this guy. He is really solid, right? But this one here is a birthing female with a suckling child rocking it, and she naturally rocks. They factored that in. And little things like that, the little love and care about the fit and finish of things is just beyond. Like, for instance, the way this egg fits into this hole, you can see the tolerance is extreme. Even if I was to turn this the wrong way, it becomes tight and I can't turn it anymore. Like, it has to go in a specific way. They make everything so pristine and with intention. That was one of the big things that threw me off, because I've collected quite a few fakes over the years, and one thing that's consistent is the attention to detail. There's always something that seems to be half-assed, I guess you could say. And on these pieces, it's not that way. Every bit of the surface is used with original art that I've never seen duplicated on any of these pieces, except there is, I'll take this guy apart, the spiral and a couple symbols I found repeating. The spiral is found in a lot of different cultures to begin with, so that's... No, Casino, these are actually from Tula, Hidalgo. However, Ojuelos, Jalisco is a place that we study as well. I've got a whole cabinet here of Ojuelos stuff. I'll definitely be showing it in more detail here soon. The glare makes it really hard to show it in the cabinet, so I've got to take it out of there. This stuff is extremely fragile, guys, so it's like handling it is not what I really enjoy doing, especially with no gloves, and I'm not a museum curator. However, I just really wanted to prove it one way or another before I let it down, or let it go rather, because either people are being fooled or people are being fooled. And that's not cool. And with the secret societies and different things and rumors and conspiracies out there, it's just definitely worth researching, in my opinion. Like there's no harm or foul in collecting art, whether it's modern or old. So it's definitely art. Like the mosaic work in this Ojuelos stuff is just crazy. I mean, these are all different stones glued together, and that's where they're getting the carbon dates. It's from this red glue here. It's got organic material. All right, guys, I'm going to go try to fix this headset. I'll be back here in just a few. I apologize.